through your freedom.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. What a day. Yes, we are no longer on Patreon. That is a done deal. However, we're not gone. We are not hurt. We're not crushed. We're not crying like a bunch of safe space, bear hugging, skinny jeans wearing, bunny hugging, tree loving bunch of pussies. And that's not us at all. We're getting it together. Behind the scenes, Jolene is whipping together a big ass replacement and a big kapow to the bad guys with our new system. It's going to take a few days. So for now, we're on YouTube, and we're going to figure out how to make Patreon's crime get paid back. So everyone stand fast. When we get the new system, we will be talking to you about how it works and where we'll meet to make sure you get the premium content you paid for with Patreon before they screwed us all right in the ass. Okay, we got Mikey G. He's become a new YouTube member. Thank you, Mikey G. Now, what we got here is we got Uman wearing two hats. He's got the big blue wrench, and he'll get you if you get out of line. We don't allow trolls, but if you're new here, you've got to hit the subscribe button and then wait 30 minutes before you can comment. So if you're already a subscribed member, you can comment. But do not forget that Uman is doing Jolene's job and the moderator, and he doesn't mess around. So thank you, Uman. And like I said, Jolene's in the background. She's hustling. So we are live, not on Patreon, not anywhere else. We're live on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're live on YouTube. There is a super chat button up here. If you've got a question, that's how we're going to moderate whose question goes to the front. It's not easy doing this, folks. And we do operate on what I like to call a shoestring budget, right? So we don't have a studio full of people the way Joe Rogan does. I would love that, folks. I'd love to have so much power and so many thousands of you on something like that where we could afford that kind of studio. Instead, I'm in the bunker, right? It'd be good to have Crispy Bacon on one mic and Vaughn on another and Kaz and Jolene and Uman, of course. But it's just me and Uman at the time being. So we're piling in the subscribers. We're piling in the audience. We go live at 4. Of course, some of you guys figured out how to show up early and wait. But we go live at 4 p.m. every single day, and we do my monologue and your Q&A. Now, because it's just the two of us, I'll spare the rest, man. And just to prove I'm not full of shit, there he is. That's right. Uman, hold up 2 fingers, buddy.
Cheers, everyone.
2 fingers. He's live. Okay. So if a super chat comes up, there it is. Tamika Gomina. That's right. You don't see the last name, but her screen name is the last name. Tamika checks in, and she's become a YouTube member. Thank you, Tamika, again, for all your support. I tell you, what a day. What a day for news and for weird shit going on. If you guys have a question or comment, we got that super chat button. I recommend you hit subscribe. I recommend you hit the thumbs up, and I recommend you share that internet address up at the top. Share it with friends, share it with family, because people had better get prepared up here and with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. You know the routine, right? And a plan. Now, one of the things I want to talk about. Zed's dead. Well, that's a great line from the movie Pulp Fiction, starring the now dead Bruce Willis. And Zed's Dead does a $4.99 super chat donation. And he says, John, are you still receiving Patreon pledges or should we cancel them? I'll tell you what, man, we're not getting shit from Patreon. We don't even exist on Patreon anymore. I tell you what, Zed, they peed in their own Cheerios and now they get to eat them. But yeah, cancel everything with Patreon. Screw Patreon, right? They're not giving us any more money. They took all the money and they're not giving any refunds that I know of, but we're going to make it right. Don't worry. Jolene is on that. That is like step 2 or step 3 of the plan. When we get a new, private, protected, free speech zone, guess what? We're going to make everything right. The one thing they did do is go, here's a list of all the people we screwed over. I'm glad you're, whatever. So we got emails and names, and Jolene has that list. And so she'll be figuring out how to reach out to people and find out, are you still getting screwed by Patreon? Are they still trying to screw you over? Whatever the deal is there, right? I know we've got our own, the Prepared Mind channel. We've got our own, shall we say, content providers who are on Patreon that we want to subscribe to and support, but we're no longer there at all. Okay. So if you've got questions, if you've got comments, get them into the super chat thing. There's a button way up there, not the thumbnail, not the watermark, not the little John in the blue shirt there, but up in the corner. Let's go over here. There we are. Up in the corner, up over there. Your super chat donation will get your question up. I'll make you famous, whether it's a person, a place, a subject, an event, a future prediction, a look at history, stump the John with a lie and a truth, whatever you want to play. However you want to play this, it's up to you if you want to join in on the conversation, right? So we're doing this much like the Sunday Night Live Zoo. Now, on to a topic I would like to discuss, something that very much affects us as Americans, right? The Republicans in DC are finally kickstarting the anti-January 6th BS program, right? This BS committee that they have, that Nancy Pelosi cobbled together with some horse crap and some bull crap and some raw sewage and a little bit of Play-Doh, right? She's put this committee together to try and find a way to present to the American people a picture that paints President Trump as an insurrectionist and you as a patriot as a bad person, and anyone involved as negative. I'll tell you right now, I've seen some of their evidence that they put forward, and it's people using political speech, right? These televised hearings are going to be total BS, lies, and painting normal political talk as being violent and radical in nature. But that's what the Democrats are going to do. And they've got Liz Cheney, a supposed Republican. Yeah, Liz Cheney, a rhino Democrat, neocon, anti-Trump, never Trump, war pig, as the committee spokesperson. No, not even remotely a Republican. Not even a good rhino Republican name only. I don't think she can espouse any Republican principles that you and I think of as conservative. So Representative Andy Biggs out of Arizona, a Republican, right, also a member of the House Judiciary Committee, went on Twitter and said that the J6 hearing this week is a distraction. It's not only a distraction, but it is the culmination and the best they can do to try and make you and all of America believe. It's the very best they can do to make you believe something bad happened that day. Oh, and they're going to call for impeachment and arrest and prosecution and get a grand jury. And this is the most bullshit I have ever heard. It is a star-studded whack job of an attempt to paint President Trump and the administration and you as anti-American. Right now, here's what Andy Biggs says. The illegitimate January 6th hearing this week is a distraction from the Biden administration's colossal domestic and international failures. Okay, I'm gonna let me elaborate, if you will, Representative Biggs. An example of the international failure, the abandonment of Afghanistan, the Afghanistan people, our allies, our own troops, and the blood, sweat, and tears that have been spent there trying to liberate that country and somehow make something positive come out of it, not to mention the lives lost, the treasure spent, the hope, the care, the dreams of everyone involved, trying to make that a positive event. And Biden just handed it back over. Number two, international, colossal, Biden administration failure, Ukraine. By trying to weasel the UN in there and scare Russia with American military might and threatening and then using American financial sanctions and punishments on Russia and its allies. It's a colossal failure. Have you seen the price of gas at the pump? Have you seen the food prices? That has rebounded, bam, into a domestic, colossal, steaming pile of elephant dung. The Biden administration, food, fuel, not to mention other things like critical race theory that the Biden administration is pushing. The claim that whites are all radical, racist, white supremacists is absolutely disgusting. And if you're Black, or if you're Hispanic, or if you're Asian American, and you don't hate America, then you too are a white supremacist. You didn't know that, did you? You didn't know that. I find it stunning, folks, stunning. Now, let me continue reading Representative Biggs, Republican out of Arizona, his quote. Americans are troubled by Biden's record inflation, high gas prices, major crime in cities, and porous southern border. Yes, folks, the Texas southern border, that is both a domestic failure and a colossal international failure because it is caused by keeping that border wide open. It has caused Mexico, Central American nations, and South American nations, and Caribbean nations, and African nations, and Middle Eastern nations. It has caused their people to try and illegally immigrate here by coming through Mexico. And folks, this has a detrimental effect on Mexico. They've got thousands and thousands of people going through Mexico, and Mexico is at best an emerging market nation, trying to do something, whatever it is they're trying to do down there. But they've got to support all these immigrants coming through their country, trying to get into our country. So it is both a domestic problem for us having a porous, and that's a nice way to put it, wide open borders, and it is causing problems for Mexico trying to deal with all these illegals coming into their country who are illegals trying to get into our country. Biggs, Representative Biggs, Arizona Republican, says the priorities are wrong. And I'm going to add into that, no shit. And welcome to the party, pal. There it is, right? There it is. This, folks, that's the first thing I covered. Now, do we have any super chats? Ooh, man, I'm not following. I've got so much to do, just like you, buddy. If we've got a super chat donation from you guys, let me know. Shit, I almost hit the wrong freaking button. That would have been a big mistake. Okay, we're good. We're good. If you have something to say, if you've got a thought, an idea, a concept, it is up to you to put it up. It is up completely to you. No one's forcing anyone to do anything, but if you've got something to say, we do it with the super chat. Otherwise, I'm going to continue with what I want to talk about. Normally on Patreon, I would run through the gamut, the major stuff in my broadcast. And then we would get to the Patreon customers the Patreon supporters, right? The people who are guerrilla funding the Prepared Mind Network and our effort to get the word freedom, liberty, Constitution. I mean, where do we draw the line at? Dignity, decency, morality, our freedom. Right? You guys get to have your questions and thoughts on that. I tell you. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Get your questions together. Hit that super chat button if you want to talk about it. And I think Shelly Chavers just checked in. Go ahead and, if you would, man, pop that up on the screen. Thank you, sir. She says that, Shelly Chavers, $5 super chat donation. She says, need to know your Cash App signature. Do not have PayPal. Okay, down in the description below, below the video, in the description, not the comment section, but the description, it has a PayPal and the Cash App button. So you can find that. Those are still working. The PayPal goes to Jolene's account. The Cash App goes to the Prepared Mind account. It all goes into the GTFB and SB account, which is the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back account. I know Jolene is very busy right now, but I am the one who's monitoring as much as I can. Okay, there we go. And Uman just put in the comment section over here on my screen the Cash App thing, so you can get your stuff in. Shelly, you've been a great. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Uman. Shelly's been a great contributor, sponsor, the bringer of the questions, folks. Now I see everything I see, and I get a lot of information from you guys. But sometimes you bring, actually, I should say quite often, you bring comments, suggestions, perspective from a whole different field of view, and it helps me, right, address a topic in new ways, in deeper ways. So looks like we got another one there. We got Militant Roots with a $9.99 super chat donation, and he says, "Grow food." The further you and I get into SHTF, the further we get into it, and thank you, Militant Roots, thank you. The further we get into this, the more I think in my head, we're in big freaking trouble. Please, whatever you do, buy your own food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, yeah, food. Store food, but then grow food. Learn how to grow your food. Go to the preparedmind.club oh my gosh, what a day. At Patriot Supply, they have heritage seeds. That way, anything you grow, the produce you get, you can harvest the seeds out of it and replant those next year. You take the seeds out, whether they're tomatoes or squashes or you name it. Get the seeds, dry them carefully. Don't cook them, dry them. The preparedmind.club. Thank you there, Oliver. Man, dude's awesome. Dry the seeds, put them in like a Ziploc bag with a dry paper towel so it'll kind of soak up the moisture. Make sure they've had a chance to dry and store them till next year and plant them. The other thing is what Chris P. Bacon did, and he's like, hey, you can get broccoli seeds and you can get a salad mix sprout seeds bag. You can buy them 1 pound or half a pound or a big old 5 pound. A 5-pound bag of broccoli seeds will grow enough sprouts to feed 2 people for a year. You can grow a salad every 5 days. You have 5 mayonnaise jars, you grow 5 salads, 1 day each day, and it grows. That way you're growing your own food. And if you have the real estate or a bug out location or whatever you have, and if you can do rabbits or chickens or small farm animals, like chickens and rabbits, you can feed off of the land. I recommend having feed for them too, but you can feed them, free range them. Bunny rabbits, you can collect whatever it is that they would eat in the wild and feed it to them. And then chickens, they'll go out and they'll eat bugs and all kinds of shit. There it is, Chris B. Bacon's channel. That dude's awesome. Great friend of the channel, great friend of mine, great friend of Uman's. Great. You guys don't even know Chris. If you ever had a chance to meet him, you love the dude. He's just awesome. Anyways, he showed us how to do that. He did videos on the sprouts. If you go there to his channel, give him a thumbs up when you get there. Let him know that you came from the Prepared Mind Network, and that'll make his head spin. But yeah, he was like, wow, Chris, I'm glad you found that, because growing your own food when meat prices skyrocket and egg prices skyrocket and bread prices skyrocket and dairy products skyrocket and vegetation, veggies, fruits, they are going to skyrocket. You're going to love having the ability to grow your own food, and it's going to be extremely healthy, extremely nutritious. Now, I think we're all caught up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about a little story that I think is important. Are you ready? Earlier today, I talked about Russia and Ukraine and getting their grain out of Ukraine, right? Turkey and Russia agreed that there should be a corridor, a safety zone, to get grain loaded onto ships in southern Ukraine and have those ships safely leave harbor and not have them hit any Zelensky planted mines, floating mines with little magnets. They stick to a ship and blow the shit out of it. Is that what you want to happen to your grain? Well, that's what Zelensky wants, because Zelensky is the one who had his military mine all of the harbors. Well, the United Nations, the United States government, the United Kingdom, and the European Union, they have not done a damn thing with Ukraine and telling them to get the mines out of the water. Russia has worked and said they'll help, and Turkey will help get those mines out so they can safely escort ships out of there. Now, Russia says it's ready for a UN, that's the United Nations, right? The neutral guys, the good guys, the UN. Number one, I don't think they're the good guys. I think they're a bunch of agenda-driven assholes who have their own health issues and their own, you guessed it, gun issues. But hey, if they want to get food to the world, good. Work with Russia. Work with Turkey. Russia's ready to meet with Ukraine. And the UN is kind of facilitating this meeting. But Ukraine says it's nothing but symbolic, right? This is a continuation of the story, how Ukraine has mined the harbors, mined the ports, so that ships can't get in or out with the food the world needs, right? This is a continuation of this morning's mega headlines about that. The Russian foreign minister, right? And you've heard me say his name, Sergei Lavrov, said that his country, Russia, is now ready to sit down and discuss the issue of food and the invasion and what is happening. They're ready to sit down, but it's Zelensky. It is Volodymyr Zelensky and Ukraine that have remained, and I love this word, recalcitrant on the issue of refusing to demine the ports. That's right, folks. Ukraine doesn't want to talk about taking their mines out of the water, even with not just Turkey and Russia, and Turkey being the number 2 largest military in NATO. That's right, the Ottoman Empire, the Turks, the NATO ally Turk, right? Russia, folks, is ready. Turkey's ready. The United Nations ready, but Zelensky and Ukraine say, nope, we're not going to talk about removing those mines. They think that's actually stopping Russia from invading even further. Unfreaking believable. Russia could come in. Well, if they can't use the water because of the mines, then they could do an airstrike, an air invasion, a land strike, a land invasion, if they really wanted to take Odessa. It's up to Ukraine to say, okay, we're done fighting. And I'm sure Russia would say, okay, it's a ceasefire. Now let's negotiate the peace. Let's sue for peace. But Ukraine doesn't want to, folks. Oh, we've got so much to talk about. But I think we got Tamika Gomina checking in with a $10 super chat donation. She says, I almost feel harassed by all of the pride messaging. Why is it being pushed so hard this year? I have nothing against the pride community, just curious. Well, I'll tell you what, Tamika. The reason we had our spat with Patreon is over the issue of the Pride Month and the Pride movement. Now, if I was to say, I've got pride in what I am and who my people are, people would say, oh, white pride. Oh my God, John's a racist, right? I think we should all be proud of ourselves as Americans. I think we should be proud of the concept of freedom and liberty and equality for all. But the pride movement represents the LGBS crowd, right? Or the LGBS crowd is pushing for this pride thing. Well, the way I see it, Tamika, is it started very small. I'm going to get it right down here at the bottom. Very small back in the 1990s of we shouldn't pick on little guys, and we should be politically correct and sensitive to people who are different or unusual or odd, yada, yada, yada. We shouldn't make fun of people. We shouldn't pick on them. But this movement has grown. It started way down here, and it's slowly gotten bigger and more aggressive and loud. The year 2005, it was no bullying, no harassing. You got to give everyone their voice. Free speech and expression is important. But it kept going. Pride, gay this, gay that, gay marriage. Now, then we got to this point over here. Let me just put this finger up here. We got to this point. Like 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, it was, well, you can identify as another gender. You can be a cat or a dog. You can claim to be another gender. All these things, right? It's like all of a sudden, there's no limit to this crowd. And it went from the lesbian gay movement to the lesbian gay bi movement, LGB. And then it was LGBT. So the lesbian gay bi tranny movement. And it was at that point that the lesbians didn't like men claiming to be women, the trannies, and they hate each other, folks. They do. They're fighting with each other. In fact, in Norway, some chick is having a hate crime because she's a lesbian and she doesn't believe men can be women. And so now they're starting to eat each other. Rah, rah, rah. But they're continuing to push this and push it on children. Since 2018, they've been saying, well, children. You don't have to be a boy just because your daddy said you're a boy and your mommy said you're a boy. And girls, you can be boys too. You're just as good as boys. Yeah. If you want, you can even claim to be a boy. And we started this trans movement, and it continues and continues to where drag queens were supposed to accept that as normal. Hey, look, if you're a drag queen, folks, I've actually seen them and talked to them, met them. I've taken due diligence. I have. This 6'6" giant, I guess, white guy, traditional cisgendered white male, old, not a boomer, but close to it, right? I've gone and I've actually looked at them, met them. You are what you are. Fine. I don't have to judge you, right? You're the one having to deal with your issues. And so that they live their issues out their way. Fine. Go work at the birdcage. I don't give a shit, right? But don't throw it in my face. Don't tell me I have to accept it as normal. I mean, they want to claim it's normal, and just a few years ago, it was considered a mental health issue. And clearly, if you have to scream to the world that you're normal when you're putting a wig on that is 3 feet round, and you're having to put 2-inch eyelashes on and paint your face so you're more pied up than Clarabelle the Clown or Bozo. Hey, I'm not judging. I'm saying you're not being you. You're putting makeup on whoever you are. You're putting hair on whoever you are. You may be an XX chromosome, but if you're a guy, you're an XY. If you got a penis, you're an XY. So you're trying to hide your XY. Why? Because you want to be an XX. Now, again, I'm not making fun of everyone or anyone, right? If you feel like I'm insulting them, it's because you've got a problem, right? I'm just John. They are the ones having to defend and try and make everyone else rationalize their lifestyle and their belief system to call it normal. When psychology, the DSM book said, no, that's a problem. It's called gender dysphoria. And there's sexual connotations in it because these drag queens are incredibly sexualized, right? They're men with the fake breasts and they're putting them out there and they want everyone to accept them that way. I mean, it's like, my goodness. The pride thing is so out of control. They're like off the charts. They just keep going. Everyone accept us. But the worst part of this is they're putting it in kids' faces. And I'm not talking about 15-year-old kids. I'm talking about 10-year-old, 8-year-old, 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old kids meeting drag queens, which are men who have done some odd things possibly in their lives. And I don't have to judge, but are these the people that should be teaching kids what normal is? I mean, even if they were 10% of the population, which they're not, that's still a mega minority, right? You're not normal. You're different. I'm not going to say abnormal because that's not my job. I'm not an expert and I'm not a doctor. But here's the deal, folks. This is just a fairly honest, decent discussion about what is all this pride stuff about. It's about making us, you and me, accept these people as normal. Sorry. I don't accept that as normal any more than I accept a religion that says I must die if I don't abide by and agree with its tenets and religious philosophy. Sorry. Right? If that's not normal to say everyone else has to die if you don't believe like they do. Right? That's not normal. Saying people should die is not normal. Right? Good golly. Wow. Anyways, what a great topic. But that is why we and Patreon had our separating ways. They thought I was being mean and hateful. Sorry, no. It's discussing the facts. It's discussing opinions. It's discussing with satire. It's discussion. We should be allowed discussion. I have the First Amendment right. I think God gave it to me. And it's funny how, well, we don't accept your God, John. Well, I think that's the God they referred to when they said you can worship and preach and believe and speak as you wish. It's called the First Amendment. They don't like that. Of course they don't like that because that means that you and I get to talk as well. They want to silence us. Silence! Silence! And they want to be the ones to say what is normal. So they put this pride thing out here as if that's normal. But Tamika, if you're a traditional woman, not normal for you. Right? Heidi, you're not normal. Oh no, you're a freak being a normal human because you don't accept their pride. They're trying to make us the bad people for saying, sorry, who can take pride in doing and acting and dressing and being who you are? If you do, that's fine for you. But for us, sorry, we don't have to accept that. That's not normal. Sorry. It's never been normal. Sorry. And if you want to get into religious beliefs, it's highly prohibited and spoken against in the Judeo-Christian faith. Right? But I don't have to judge you because I think there was this one dude one time, I think he knew what he was talking to. He said, judge not lest ye be judged. Well, no crime has been committed against another human, so I'm not God. I don't get to judge them. Fine. But don't get in my face and say it's normal and say I have to accept it and kiss their asses. Fuck that. All right, let's move on. What a great thing. Oh, I see Chris P. Is that Chris P. Bacon? Is he in the house? It just says Chris P. Anyways, I see doing stuff with Nikki. Holy cow. Holy cow. It's Chris, Nikki. I see a lot of people over here. Loretta, Robert, Matt and Cece. Ooman, of course, Ooman's in here. Folks, for those of you who have shown up late, because we got the ticker, I'm looking at the ticker and it's growing. We're on YouTube live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, up until the point where we go live with the Patreon replacement for the premium content. So until then, everyone gets a taste, a feel for what it's like to be on live every day. Oh shit. Ooman says there's another non-baconated Chris in the house as well. So we got Chris P, and then of course there's our good friend Chris P Bacon. But there's a Chris P in here, and that's funny too. That's good. Cool. The always how does that go? The always imitated but never duplicated, right? I am the one and only John. Of course, there is Roger and there is Jimmy, but I am John, and I'm handling this transition with Jolene. We got Nancy, Sniper Force, Village Idiot. That one always cracks me up. Charles, Calvin, Mikey, Jody, just Arsenal. What a great crowd we have here. You guys have always been number one. And we're not afraid to tackle the difficult subjects, folks. We're not. Anything that's happening that affects our world, our normal world, the SHTF world, right, is what we have now. We came from the regular world of law and reason, common sense and critical thinking, and now we're in this fucking bizarro land of ridiculousness. Now, I would like to address, not a super chat. If you guys get a super chat donation, that button's up there somewheres. You do that, your question comes up on the list. Until then, I'm going to do some talking. Right? OPEC Plus. OPEC is the oil producing and exporting countries. They're a cartel. They work together to make sure that oil prices are as high as possible. Well, that's what it feels like to me. And it's felt like my whole stinking life, right? OPEC is saying they're struggling with oil production. They have been told, they agreed that they would increase their oil production. Now, here's the deal. Biden, day one, cuts the Keystone Pipeline project off at the knees and says, no more. They start denying permits for exploration, drilling, production, and development of wells and well fields and oil fields. They screw everyone over. Right? Biden, our prices start going up. Then they start this freaking war in Ukraine by pissing off Russia, threatening Russia, antagonizing Russia. And that affects oil, energy going from Russia into Europe. Prices go up. Biden's like, oh, okay, well, I'll show you, Putin. And he goes and he talks to Iran. They tell him pound sand. He talks to the United Arab Emirates. They say, hey, pound sand, we're talking to Russia. Right? The Middle East, OPEC is saying, sorry, pal, we're talking with Russia and China. We don't need your shit anymore. So then Biden goes to Venezuela and goes, hey, guys, hey, we need some Venezuelan oil. And they're like, for the last 8 freaking years, America, the United States government, has been screwing us over and sanctioning us. Now you want our oil? F you, Biden. Right? They give them the let's go Brandon routine. Unbelievable. So they go back. Biden goes back to the United Arab Emirates, says, please get us more oil. And they're like, no, not happening. Sorry. Some time passes. Biden's back. United Arab Emirates, OPEC, pretty please raise the oil production levels. And they finally go, okay. We'll do it. We'll raise the production. It should lower the costs. And by the way, Biden's supposed to go meet with, I think, Mohammed bin Salman, MBS. And apparently that's kind of a shaky deal there. He's like the high, I don't want to use the term sultan. He's a prince, but he's in charge over there. Oh, yeah. Give me a second on Bonnie. I'll get right to you. Leave it on the screen, man. But go ahead and leave it on the screen. Thank you, man. I'm going to finish up on oil here. The United Arab Emirates, OPEC, said they would raise production to help us lower the price. Well, they have now said they're struggling with oil production. It's really difficult. It's struggling, right? Okay, thank you, Shelley. Why can't they raise their oil production? Is it because their wells are dry? Is it competition for each barrel of oil going to China or India? And we're having to compete on an open market, not a speculative oil market in New York City? Or is this continuing punishment? Is this making, I got the Cash App thing, Shelley. I've got the email. Thank you. Let me finish up with OPEC. They're continuing to make Joe Biden look stupid. They're continuing to say F you to Joe Biden. They're continuing to say F you to Europe and the major banks. They're continuing to say F you and then say, yeah, we're having some trouble. Well, I get the picture loud and clear. It's a big FFFU. Now, Bonnie Blue says, hey, filled out a customer service request with Patreon about your channel being removed and got a canned email response referring me to the frequently asked questions page. I'll tell you, Bonnie, they didn't like me talking about the LGBS that's going on and the fact that they're shoving it down our throats and there is child grooming going on. It's funny, the same people that want the drag queens in school are the same people that keep turning up as pedophiles and child molesters and rapists and everything else. Why is it the same crowd? Because that's what that crowd wants. And I don't like the idea of kindergartners being sexualized. Remember John Benet Ramsey? She was this young girl. She was like a model. They dolled her up and put makeup and hair and did all this stuff. She was just like a 5 or 6 year old. And she ended up getting murdered. Right? Sexualizing children is just wrong. But these leftists, and I think Hillary Clinton is a pedo apologist and wants it legalized. All these leftists want it legalized. Thank you, Bonnie, very much for that great super chat donation. And then we got Tennessee Hillbilly. He became a YouTube member. And he's making sure you know he's from Tennessee and he's a hillbilly. Now, Shelly Chavers, $5 super chat donation. She sent $10 to the Cash App. Now, you can make donations via Super Chats or Cash App or PayPal. And the Cash App and PayPal is down in the description. So she found it. She says, cancel Patreon immediately. A-holes. A-holes. Some patriots not. Well, Patreon, yes. Patriot, no. They are not patriots. They're pushing this LGBS Pride Month stuff down our throats. And if you dare talk about it, you're a bad person and you've used hate. Oh, bullshit. All right, Shelly, I got your $10 Cash App donation. You found us. That's another great way to get questions in. If you go to Cash App or Patreon and make a donation, be sure and put in the comments your question, your statement, your concern, your thought, your topic, whatever it is. Okay, now we got Big Country checking in. And Big Country does a $10 super chat donation. And he says, if you make $15 an hour and burn 40 gallons of gas a week after taxes, you're very, very close to losing money to drive to work a week, much less eat, pay bills, and I'm going to throw in rent, credit card, right? How have we not entered Mad Max hotspots yet? Well, here's the deal, man. Everyone who can't pay their bills, Big Country, I have heard that they are charging their credit cards, if they own a house and they have any equity in it, they're using their home equity line of credit to pay their bills and pay their bills. In the meantime, they're also doing this. They're moving out of their homes, or they're renting their home and they're moving back with their parents. It's unfreaking believable what is going on. They're moving in with parents, they're moving in with friends to save money. And if they own property, they're trying to rent it, they're trying to VRBO it. People are doing everything they can. As far as Mad Max hotspots, oh, they're coming, Big Country. Make sure you've got food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. Right? Make sure you got your pride flag out. I don't think you'll see one of those anywhere near the Prepared Mind bunker. Yeah, I'm worried about, my gender. That's the most important thing to me. I'm going to spend a fortune. Oh, no, wait. I'm going to spend your tax dollars getting the government to spend and pay for my gender transformation stuff. Unfreaking believable. Oh, yeah. And I want to share this story with you. Oh, we got Heidi with a $3 super sticker. Love you, Heidi. You're awesome. Be good. Be careful. Wow. I know a very experienced nurse. He's about 65. If I got that wrong, man, I'm sorry. It's Jack. And he told me a very interesting story. He lives in the California Bay Area, and he started doing recovery. He's recovery from surgery. That's one of the jobs he was doing. And so he was in ICU, intensive care, or surgery recovery. But he says a lot of people in the Bay Area, that's the San Francisco Bay Area, Oakland Bay Area, San Jose Bay Area, the Bay Area. And he said it seemed like every single time the patient would wake up from the gender bender, gender transformation, genital operation, and they would ask a question. And he says, the majority of the time, I think if I remember, 9 times out of 10, the very first thing the patient would ask when they opened their eyes and they saw Jack, who's a man, by the way, a big man, they said, did I do the right thing? Can you imagine that? Your job is to make sure they don't die in surgery recovery. And they're starting to ask questions that they should have been asking their psychologist, their family, their friends, way before they got this far into it. Oh, sorry, we've now turned your thing into another thing, and it's kind of a thing. That's not for him to answer, but he was always, he said, being put in that position because they didn't know, folks. Ooh, Jack and Coke. Oh, good stuff there. We got Heidi. She says, I saw a video yesterday. They claim that trying to go green would cause more damage from mining minerals, and we still wouldn't have enough of the minerals to enable it. Might we? Could that be true? This is a very delicate topic. It's not delicate like, cutting your genitals off, but it's a very important topic. In order to electrify the world, that means instead of a gas-powered car, you need an electric-powered car. So you need battery materials, nickel, lithium, silver, whatever the batteries are made out of. You have to mine those. Mining those minerals requires digging the earth up with giant tractors and processing it and separating it. The processing process it's expensive, and the equipment to do that needs electricity, right? It's very, very expensive to mine these minerals that are specialized, and they come from Africa, Russia, hello, Afghanistan, hello, other parts of the world. And there's a lot of environmental disturbance, at the very least. Environmental disturbance, meaning moving the dirt around to get these minerals out. Now, and it's always been that way throughout all of human history and even human prehistory, mining can be kind of messy. Now, they've got a new style of mining called in situ. In situ means you find where the minerals are using geological vibrations and sonar and all that fancy shit, as well as drilling holes, right? Like a core, getting a core sample and seeing what exists from foot number 1 to foot 1,000 feet down. And if there are strategic minerals there, how do you get them out of the ground? Well, you drill a bunch of holes and you pump water down there to dissolve those minerals. And then you got a pump on the other side that pumps that water back out of the hole. And you bring those minerals out, and then you separate the minerals from the water, but you don't dig the entire planet up. They have most successfully done that with uranium. So there aren't these huge open radioactive uranium pits. You find the uranium, you pump water in there, you get it out. Okay. Nancy Keg, new member, bam, new YouTube member. Okay. So you can do all that, right? And they've perfected it with uranium. Now, of course, the ground has to be permeable. Hello, Nancy. Ground has to be permeable. And it's a process, right? And it works. They're doing this with uranium, folks. That's how they're getting the yellow cake out of the ground into a processing plant. Then they send it to be refined, enriched, turned into a fuel pellet, and we're getting very clean energy from that. In fact, nuclear energy has fewer deaths, fewer accidents, and less environmental damage caused today than any other form of mining. Now, that's just uranium. Oh, by the way, there's a company called Group 11, and it's owned by a company called Encore Energy that is trying to do in situ recovery mining for copper, zinc, gold, silver, all sorts of metals. So we're not digging the planet up, we're just pushing water through the ground and sucking out these other minerals. Okay, now, that's just the mining side, Heidi. And this is a fabulous topic because they're supposed to be saving the world, yet they're going into third world countries and just tearing the shit out of the ground. And they don't give a shit. Now, what's worse than that is the recycling. It's like, John, what are you talking about recycling? Every solar panel that's being made, and Biden just said, we're going to use the defense procedures, procurement, defense authorization. We're going to go after and get all kinds of solar panels. Well, great. We're going to get lots of electricity. Do you know what it takes to recycle a solar panel? Right? Recycling. How clean is that? Well, we're reusing stuff. We're repurposing it. But does that release chemicals into the air? Does that create huge piles of waste that are noxious or toxic? Look into it. The blades coming off of these wind turbines are not recyclable. They don't know what to do with them. They've got mountains and stacks of wind turbine blades because they don't last forever. Solar panels are supposed to last 25 years. Well, in 25 years, they better figure out this recycling thing because that is waste. Right? They want to complain about spent nuclear fuel, which is, again, it's reduced back down to uranium. Of course, it's radioactive. It's uranium. It's radioactive when it comes out of the ground. No one sits at home and eats a bowl full of yellow cake. It's radioactive. It's already in the earth radioactive, but they're mad that, you create these radioactive waste piles. They're trying to figure out how to reprocess it and use it again, right? But what about solar panels? Well, they're not radioactive, but they're completely nasty. And how do you recycle them? The wind turbine blades, that's garbage too. Where is all this shit going to go? First, you dig up the earth to get all this stuff, and then it gets destroyed within, 10 years, 15 years, 25 years on the solar stuff? What a freaking mess. Sustainable living. McMeisty with a 556 super chat donation. Thank you, McMeisty. 556, one of my favorite numbers. And no question coming from McMeisty. He just wanted to make a great donation into our Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back, the GTFB and SB fund that is keeping me back right here. I'm in the prepared bunker. Sometimes you'll see me in Studio A or B. Look out, folks. I try and keep myself protected, private, mobile, so I cannot be tracked and attacked. But yeah, Heidi, yeah, she says solar panels are deadly toxic. Hey, I promote the sale, purchase, and use of solar panels. I do. Because I want people to have access to electricity if we get a huge brownout, blackout, power grid failure, cyber attack on the power system, right? Because we need to have power for our communications, our electronics, et cetera, et cetera. I think that they will figure it out, Heidi, but green power isn't as green as you would think. These lithium mines, They're just tearing the planet apart trying to pull that shit out to make the batteries for electronic vehicles, EVs, electric vehicles, EVs, cars, bikes, skateboards, whatever, right? It has little batteries that go into our cell phones, right? They're all taking these lithium, nickel, cadmium, super duper batteries. It's a big deal. Thank you, man. Let me read that real quick, and then I'll get back to the batteries. The batteries themselves are incredibly environmentally unfriendly. The new fund is going to be the GTFOASOOP fund, the Get the F Off and Stay Off of Patreon fund. Well, I tell you what, you guys in your guerrilla funding, whether it's through Super Chat donations, or whether it's through Cash App or PayPal, or whether it's going to be through our new website that we're going to be putting together and getting out just ASAP so that premium members can get back into that status. And folks, it's going to be important that you continue to promote, support, and prepare. And anyways, back to the EVs. So what they do is they have solar panels and windmills to create all this green energy. And then you charge your electric vehicle. But when the solar panels go bad and the windmills go bad, they're incredibly nasty garbage. You charge that battery in your EV, your skateboard, your bicycle, whatever the hell it is you have that has a battery, your phones. Those batteries have a life. And when they're over, are they recyclable? Or are they toxic waste? I do not recommend you going and licking any EV batteries. I don't recommend sleeping on them, breaking them open, seeing what makes them tick. In fact, we've heard of batteries just exploding, literally exploding. It's because they're dangerous. Do not damage them. They're fucking dangerous. Now, I know that there's been a lot of talk about assault weapons lately, right? Guns, rifles, handguns, shotguns, right? All about it, folks. I'm more concerned about the deadly assault vehicles. The deadly assault vehicles, the AVs out there, assault vehicles, whether it's a car or an SUV, whether it's electric or gas, they're all assault vehicles and they kill dozens, hundreds, thousands more people than guns ever have, right? The assault car attacks are continuing. This time, folks, it's international. 1 dead and 30 people have been injured after a fatal car crash, an assault vehicle, and it ran into a crowd beside a church in Berlin, Germany. That's right, folks. Someone used a car to ram people. 1 person dead, 30 injured by this assault vehicle. We have to get these cars and SUVs and trucks off the road. They're incredibly dangerous. People are dying. It's not the people's fault. It's the car. It's kind of like the gun thing, right? They're like, hey, we got to get rid of these guns. You don't need these guns. Don't worry about that communist, socialist, authoritarian government trying to kill you. You don't need your guns. Oh, yeah, we do. Oh, yes, we do. Woo! Anyways, yeah, assault cars. It continues, folks. It continues. Wow. And one more thing. We're closing in on the hour. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Once again, we have a great 4 p.m. crowd. And when we get over to the new site, we're going to try and do the same thing where we have just a $2 premium membership per month. And I think we can make that work again. Anyways, for now, we're live on YouTube. It's completely free to participate, to hang out in the comments section, to have fun, to watch, and then, of course, share that address, hit the thumbs up button, all that stuff. We're almost done today, this afternoon, but guess what? I got another thing. The World Bank is now telling us there's going to be a global recession. It says, quote, essentially no rebound. What the hell does that mean, no rebound? No rebound is expected for several years, folks. And They're going to have above average inflation ahead of us. Let's see, above average. You mean like right now, gasoline doubling? Oh yeah, expect more, says the World Bank. There's not going to be a rebound. In other words, we're not going to have prices come back down. Don't expect that. And what I want to say to you is if they're admitting this, and they're admitting it now, wait a minute. I thought the global recession wasn't supposed to hit till next year, 2023. They're talking about Q2, Q3, right? The spring, summer of next year. Why are they talking about it now in 2022? Why is the World Bank letting us know now? Why doesn't the World Bank and the European Central Bank and the Federal Reserve Bank and all the financial companies, why don't they tell you and me when there's going to be a market crash so that anyone with Wall Street investments can get out ahead of time? They never tell us anything early. In other words, it's already started and it's coming at us. And now, folks, if they admit it, you know it's going to suck. The suckitude on all of this is going to be off the hook. And they're admitting it. And they're warning us. And Oregon Patriot is now a YouTube member. Thank you, Oregon Patriot, for all you have done, man. Awesome, awesome, and awesome. Folks, they're telling us, they're warning us. Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan? Do you have it together? Whew. Unbelievable, folks. I've got so much stuff to talk about, but we're done. We're done for the day. Great topics, great suggestions, great articles, great comments from you guys, and great support for the channel, the network, other viewers, folks. Come here. They want to read the comments and see what discussions are being had. Is this some wacko, stupid channel? Are people crazed and lunatic? Or are we actually grounded in intelligent thought, intelligent discussion, right? The attentive ear. Are we ready, right, to learn, to prepare? That's the idea of this channel. And I want to do it in an entertaining format, of course, right? No one wants to sit down and be bored to tears and bored to death and bored to sleep. So we make it as entertaining as possible as well. So it's no easy task, and I want to thank you for helping, participating, joining us, and we will be back. There'll be 2 tomorrow videos in the morning. Then we'll do live again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a special event. It's the Zoo Special Edition. We're going to continue to do this until Jolene says, okay, John, tell them where to go. And I'll let you know ahead of time, folks. I'll give you a couple of days to get there, get prepared, get set up, get signed up. But then we'll go back to the system we had before, where premium members get to participate on a daily basis. And it's worked great. It's a way to protect ourselves. And here we are. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. These people can take a flying leap at a rolling donut, right? I'm done with them. What do we got over there? Heidi. Okay, everyone, Semper Fi, Godspeed. Chance favors the prepared mind, and aren't you glad you are a prepper and an American, or at the very least, if you're not in America, someone who loves freedom, liberty, and the idea of self-determination and your rights. I'll see you soon.